727, what's up?
Hey, Ghost.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Haven't talked to you in a long time, man. I can't get through with all these trolls.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them out here. How you doing, man?
You think what do you think? Do you think the market's going to set a pretty good high right here? You think it's going to tank as we get closer to the summer and going into the fall towards elections?
Well, actually, I think that, based upon earnings, you're going to, get a lot of plays on those that can be able to withstand any potential retraction in consumer sentiment, because basically that's what's basing the new GDP numbers, which is the 2.8 fourth quarter 2011 GDP number, 2.8%. Well, the reason, even though that's a good number, in my opinion, based upon all the negative growth that we've had for the past, Jesus Christ, couple of years, the reason that it's negative is because the sentiment, the consumer sentiment is not there. There's a lot of risk factors, and that's why you have Ben Bernanke extending the interest rates low until 2014. I remember in September, I believe it was, he said it was going to extend it until 2013. So you can tell that not many people or many so-called economists know what the hell's going on here. There's too many factors to factor in for an actual true rebound. But in my personal view, man, I think that this market has been way oversold. If you take a look at some of the real stocks out here, and I'm not talking about these damn tech stocks that are inflated with over-speculation. I'm talking about the true stocks that have been beaten up out here. I'm talking about maybe some of these financials. I'm talking about some of these the stocks of the Dow Jones Industrials that have taken a hit in 2011. I'm talking about, these stocks of the S&P that are on the verge of going up here. I think that, once the sentiment is pretty much factored into the market from the negative or potential negative of the GDP growth numbers of today's data, I think that at some point we're going to see a pop. The problem is that we're going to eventually see all the numbers that we got in from positive job growth decline because of the consumer sentiment. And the reason the consumer sentiment is not there is because high gas prices. We got hyperinflation. We've got, commodities going up the roof. There's a lot of factors that are really ruining the consumer sentiment. If the consumer sentiment's ruined, then only the strong survive in that market.
Yeah, I think the gas prices this summer is, they're predicting $5 a gallon. Last time they hit $4, but not everybody in the country actually ever saw the number 4 at the gas pump. If you get to a point where the whole entire country is saturated with over $4 a gallon gas, and some parts are hitting a 5. I mean, that is going to kill sentiment no matter what's going on with the jobs.
Absolutely, and only the strong are going to be able to survive. And those that are going to be strong are those that are diversified in markets and not exclusively in Europe either. Remember, whatever happens in Europe could ripple effect over here into our financial markets, which could put us in a very bad predicament. So that's another factor you got to factor in as it relates to economic growth. So this is what's really kind of keeping the investor skittish. But in my personal view, there's still some opportunities that are on the low in my personal. I think that people need to look at Bank of America. As a matter of fact, when the first of the year came about, I was telling people to start looking at financials in general and, taking a look at names like Bank of America. And since the first of the year, Bank of America has jumped up about $2 and change since then. And I think that it could continue to go up because a lot of these financials have been beaten up because of the European economic uncertainty, if you will.
Right. So one of the reasons I'm a pretty far right conservative, but I'm pretty much settling on supporting Mitt Romney. And let me tell you my number one reason why I think we need Mitt Romney to run, because they're going to paint him out as a rich guy, and they're already doing it. And I think that conversation needs to happen. Obama wants to double the capital gains tax. I say go for it. I think we need to come to a head in this country and have a decision of we're going to be capitalists or are we going to be socialists. And Mitt Romney gives those commies a lot of ammo. He ain't done nothing wrong, but the whole thing about private equity companies and laying people off and 15% capital gains tax and tax, millions of dollars here, millions of. Well, go for it, I say, because we need to get this over with and let it come to a head and say, you want to double capital gains taxes? You go ahead and try. See what happens to this economy.
You're damn right. And all the capitalists are going to leave the country. We're going to go to Asia, South America, somewhere else because, it's going to be too high to do business out here, man. I mean, especially private investment, private equity.
Right. The guy can get up there and literally lie by saying Warren Buffett pays a less tax than his secretary, which is a total lie. They pay the exact same tax. You can't say he pays less tax because he pays capital gains tax, and she pays more tax because she pays tax on wages. It's a complete lie, totally misleading the American people.
And well, you have to also remember there that most of the people, what is it 45, 48% of the American people don't even pay taxes. So that's why the goddamn liberal regime and Barack Obama, David Axelrod, they could package this capital gains tax up with personal income tax and bamboozle the people into believing that, hey, we got to make people pay their fair share. We got to make people pay their fair share. I mean, people are ignorant of what's going on out here because, with all due respect, a lot, if not the majority of the American people are ignorant of the fact that, hey, there are many different taxes other than personal income tax. There are many different taxes than just the corporate income tax. There's capital gains tax. There's an inheritance tax. I mean, there's all kinds of different ridiculous taxes, for Christ's sake. And for these people to sit over here, lump capital gains with personal income and utilize the whole Warren Buffett secretary propaganda routine as it relates to, hey, Warren Buffett pays less than his secretary. That's ridiculous because Warren Buffett makes the majority of his income from capital gains, not from some personal income from his corporation.
Right. Obama's convinced half the country's population who pay no taxes that they should be angry at a man who just paid $16 million in taxes.
This is class warfare at its finest, man. I mean, why do you think I get so goddamn pissed off? I get pissed off at the ignorance that's displayed on the show, and not only displayed on the show, but displayed in America, because people are becoming complacent being ignorant, complacent being stupid, and not participating in their civil duty of political participation. And not just political participation based upon a popularity contest, based upon the issues, because these people are supposed to be public servants, not mini dictators. And it seems to me that the people have been so bamboozled because, let's remember, a lot of them, if not all of them, were educated in some fashion by the public education system. Now they've been so dumbed down into believing that the only way that they can get by in life is to be dependent on Big Brother government because I don't know, what is it, 60-something% of the American people collect a government entitlement in some fashion?
Right.
You take a look at that particular statistic, and that proves why we're in the predicament we're in, why we have Obama right now as president implementing regulation, implementing more Big Brother government, and why we have Newt Gingrich as the goddamn top candidate right now for the GOP nominee, for Christ's sake. These are two big government candidates.
Right. Newt Gingrich.
Go ahead.
Newt Gingrich contributing to allowing Americans to be stupid by throwing out the tax shelters and bank capital and encouraging Americans to remain ignorant about capitalism just so he can be elected for personal gain. That's it. And let me tell you, all he's doing is running around instead of explaining the facts. He's running around just promising more crap.
It's promising more crap in every damn little stump speech that he has. I mean, he wants to build the Everglades. He wants to put people on the moon. He wants to rebuild the Panama Canal. He wants to rebuild some, big infrastructure in Iowa. He wants to. I mean, he's promising everything from under the sun. He's promising a whole new stimulus package bill is what he's doing. And this is why I'm saying the reason why we're seeing the American public go towards these candidates is because they're so dependent on government that anything that is capitalism or individualism or something that has to do with somebody's own individual merits, if something threatens the collective idea of government giving to, whoever, then they are not going to be attracted to that at all. Even though the substance makes sense, it's common sense, it's intellectual sense, it's every kind of sense you can make, all right, but instead they're going to go for the interest that keeps bringing in a free check in the mail via Big Brother government. That's why both of these candidates that are supposed to be leading both their parties, of course Barack Obama and Newt Gingrich, are big government candidates. And, I think this is the beginning of the end to America, in my opinion.
All right. Well, you got Romney back up in the polls pretty good. He's going to win Florida, and I think he's going to hold on to it. But another way that they clothe this collectivism, they clothe it in "Made in America" talk, and Obama's really good at that. And really, they clothe it in that in a way of really trying to tell corporations how much profit they can make. Okay, because they're not going to, they're not. I actually heard this idiot lady on Bloomberg last night was interviewing two people about all the jobs that Apple has over in China and over in Asia, and how people sleep in dorms and all this other. This is on Bloomberg. And she looks at these two analysts as they're going through the store. She says, "Do you think those jobs will ever come back?" And the two analysts look at her and go, "No, they're not coming back. Do you think Americans are going to live in dorms to make these products?" Don't say Americans. We don't want those jobs to come back. Americans should want smarter jobs than those jobs.
They're trying to throw us back, man. They're trying to throw us back, like 30 years, for Christ's sake. That's why I keep saying on this broadcast, we got to evolve our economic model here in America. We can't go back to manufacturing, or at least that type of minimalistic manufacturing. We need to start manufacturing things that are innovative, creative, things that can't be manufactured out in the international community because we have the knowledge, the willpower, and the material to do it here in America.
Right. If your skill set, if you're an American, your skill set's no better than an illiterate, a rotten-toothed North Vietnamese person, and that person over there on the other side of the globe, living in a rice paddy without even a pair of shoes, if they could do the same exact type of job that you're only capable of doing, then you're in sad shape in this country. If that's all you got yourself to is to demand that we raise prices of all our goods in this country. We go back to having to save enough money. We have to save money for an entire year to afford a wash machine like our grandparents had to do. All right, we got to go back to buying made in America, union-made, overpriced products just because you have not gotten yourself to a place where you have more to offer this society than some illiterate, idiot out in the middle of Africa somewhere. If they can do your job on the other side of the planet without any education, then you don't deserve a job here.
You're damn right. Let me tell you something. I want to thank that caller for calling in and giving me a breath of fresh air out here. All right? Seriously. Bravo here. Implement chat room martial law on these idiots, by the way. But bravo. Yeah. Woo. That's what I'm talking about. Did you hear the vigor? Did you hear the complete animation? Did you hear the complete and utter capitalism in that young man's voice, for Christ's sake? Do you understand that this is what we need? We need this type of mentality as the majority of America. We need somebody to understand that, hey, there's opportunity for people out here. You just have to build up your skill set. That means that you cannot turn off your mental capacity at age 15 like the majority of the American people do. You got to keep learning. You got to keep your brain open to continue to absorb knowledge and not be some simplistic idiot that's, oh, my head hurts because this is too much information. Shut up. All right? I'm telling you, man, it makes me sick, man. It makes me sick. Thank God that caller called up, for Christ's sake. What a baller Friday it's turning out to be, huh? What a baller Friday.